Hello and welcome to another episode of How This Indie Dev. Today I'm joined by Mateo from Zorro Arts, who I have been able to rub shoulders with in a few different arenas in the game dev sphere, and I've been following your projects for quite a while, but it's been really cool to see your recent success with your game Paddle Paddle Paddle, which I don't know, maybe you can give us an update with how that has gone since launch, but it sounds like things have been going really well with that project.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. It was crazy, and right now, as of today, the game was sold over 170,000 times. So it's crazy for me. It's my second game on Steam, and I'm still a solo developer. I don't have a team. I'm still making games on my own, and I just love it. So it's just awesome. But yeah, it's going pretty well. We are talking about console ports right now, level editor, new game modes, new maps, and the content is really coming in right now into the game.
Wow. That's crazy. 170,000 units. I can't even fathom that many sales.
Same.
Is that something that you were anticipating coming up before launch? Do you remember how many wish lists you had before you launched?
The game had, I think, 3 days before launch, it was at 7.5 thousand or 8,000, somewhere in between there. But then it got into popular upcoming, so it then got on launch day it had 11,000, like I think 11,300, and then it was streamed by one of the biggest streamers in Germany, and then the game got into new and trending for 4 days or 5 days, and then it was just crazy. So I think to date I have 105,000 wishlist additions, but outstanding wishlist 70,000.
Wow. That's awesome. That's really impressive. And it's been cool because I've been following your journey online for a few years now. I don't know if I followed you on Twitter and in David Whaley's game dev community, kind of kept up with your projects there. And I don't know if you remember this, but you are the person that I attribute credit to for getting me into the Nintendo developer program. So I don't know if you remember this, but I was like, can somebody please get me a contact at Nintendo? And you pointed me to the guy to get in contact with. And so you were the reason that I was able to port my games to Switch. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I think he was called Ted Regulski, something like that. And yeah, he's the Nintendo guy. So if any indie dev want to bring his game to Nintendo, you just have to message him or just reach out to the Nintendo email, I think. And he's a pretty cool dude. And yeah, I'm happy to help you.
Yeah, I appreciate it because I had applied to that program multiple times and just got automated rejection emails. And I was like, well, I don't understand why this is so difficult. And then once I got to talk to somebody face to face, I could actually kind of pitch my case and sort of explain my games and stuff. So it's a weird thing that they have going on there, trying to gate people so that they don't just dump shovelware onto the store and all of that. But anyway, thanks for that. But yeah, so it's been cool to see your success. What has it been like? So I guess you kind of pitch this game Paddle 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 as an idea that you came up with in the shower, which I think is great. So can you kind of walk me through your idea phase into execution and then like the viability of it with seeing if it's something that you wanted to push full force with?
Yeah, the game was really spontaneous because back then, I think in March I had the idea. I think the 7th of March was the first time where I made the game in Unity, like the first prototype. But it was really rough around then because like I took a shower in the morning and I didn't want to make a new game because I had Rogue Jungle, my second commercial game back then. And Rogue Jungle is still in development, but will be pushed to like I think end of 2026 right now, so end of the year. And I'm still working on it, but Pede got into the way, so I think it was really good to change paths there. Yeah. But then I had to think about the Pede trip that I had with my brother when we were on vacation in Croatia. So we had like a pedal boat there and tried to pedal a bit, and I think pedaling is a really hard thing because if you don't work in a team, if you don't like talk to each other, then you won't get any progress. Like in real life too, So if two people cannot really talk to each other, and I was the failure there. My brother did it really good, but I was like way too fast. And then we got into like a circle movement. But I think it was a really cool thing to do, rafting or paddling. So then I tried to make a co-op game out of it because I played a lot of Chain Together, like Carry the Glass, like co-op games that blew up on Steam. And I really like them. I really enjoy them. So I tried to make my own one there, and I'd like to have like a unique twist. So I thought, why not make a paddle boat out of the player characters? So you have like a physics-based paddle mechanic with forces, and like you push into the direction that you force, and the whole movement code is like 3 lines of code. You like have a rotation verb and then a forward direction push with like rb dot add gravity add force.
Yeah.
It's really simple. It's like 3 lines of code for the movement, and it's done like that. So the prototype is, I think, 10 lines of code in total, and it was done in 2 hours, and then it blew up on Twitter and on TikTok, and I knew I'm onto something. I have to keep pushing there, and it got really well. So I think the demo was made in 2 weeks then, and the Steam page was made in, I think, on the 5th day of development, because I really wanted to make the game as quick as possible, like as a challenge back then, and I made the demo in 2 weeks and for, I think, 13 or 14 days, and then I reached out to content creators, asked them to play the game, and then the people on, like, I think the biggest streamers in Germany, people may know, like, Pete's Meat, Funk Royale. If you are German, then you know them. Mm-hmm. They played it, and it got, like, a snowball, then more people played it. It was crazy, the development, but not really planned.
That's insane. There's so many interesting parts of that story. One, that's cool that you had that paddling experience in Croatia. I'm going to Croatia later this year. I've never been before, but I'm going there with my wife, which I'm excited about. So maybe I'll hit you up for any tips or places to go while we're there. But taking like a real life experience and then making that into a physics game. What's crazy about your story is that how fast it all came together. Like you just have like a super, super simple prototype, and then you said it blew up on Twitter and TikTok. What did that look like in terms of like exposure?
So the first post, which had like Unity default cubes and like the basic placeholder characters, which I think they are from TurboSquid back then, the characters, and I just made them because I wanted to have a placeholder like asset for the characters to make the development faster back then. But then I made like a 10-second video of the pedal mechanic. It got, I think, 80,000 views on Twitter and like 2,000 likes, which is really good for my like personal experience. And then on TikTok it had over 100,000 views on there, and so many cool ideas from the community. And it was really cool that people had like feedback as early as it possible, you know. So I had like only the rough pedal mechanic and the rough idea, and then people could like help me with the idea and make the idea even better, you know.
Yeah.
So I think having like a really early prototype and posting it on social media can really help to form and like to make the idea even better and to make the like game better.
Yeah, I like it because when you see just a screenshot of it, you understand it immediately. Like there's no confusion about what the gameplay is. Like you can see it and you can be like, oh yeah, that's cool. I had a question. I can't remember what it was. But I guess when was the first time that you got a prototype into the hands of players and you could actually test? Well, this is another thing that's interesting because it's a multiplayer game. And so obviously that's probably very hard to test by yourself, right? Did you rely on other people in your community to play with, or somebody like a family or friend or somebody to play test with, or did you figure out a way to just test it by yourself mostly?
Yeah, it's really hard to test a game because this game is really easy single player mode, but it's way harder in co-op mode, you know. So, for example, when I tested the game, I think it was way too easy because I played in single player. But when I then joined a friend and then we made like an online lobby with like the latency and the ping, which is also a bit of like an extra thing to care about, then it wasn't that easy anymore, and I had to like really balance things more, you know, and I had to make it co-op first. So I'm testing things in co-op first, and then they might be too easy in single player, but I cannot do it any better, you know. So I think the game is way easier in single player still, but it's just something that is normal in multiplayer games with like shared controls. Yeah,
totally. So when you first, did you have like an open play test, or was it closed until launch? How did you get it to see if it was viable as far as like online multiplayer and getting people to test it before you launched?
Yeah, I sent the first game build that was made in like I think 3 days. I sent it to my friends and then they played it because they like rage games and they like this co-op games.
Yeah.
And I also played with my friend together, and it was really fun back then because the game was really new, and like my friends just wanted to play a co-op game, a fun co-op game. So it was more like they can play a free game and not they can help me with testing, you know.
Yeah.
So we tested it together really quickly, I think on the third day of development or fourth day of development. And then there was no time to make a playtest, so I just made the demo and just saw how the demo performs. And I was lucky enough that the demo is doing great enough. And there were no major bugs back then.
That's great. Did you reach out to a lot of content creators when you launched your demo?
Yeah, I think I sent Scheme keys to 10, not Scheme keys, but the demo link to I think 10 or 12 German creators that I knew, that I watched myself. Because for Maki's Adventure I have a contact to many more streamers back then, and I write with them via Twitter DM, so I could then just make a new chat and, hey, I'm back here with a new game, and you want to play it. It's like a rage co-op game, and it was way easier to get them to play it because it's like a way more trending genre right now, so the players in the chat enjoyed it way more than a 2D platformer game. And it was crazy how easy it was to get streamers to play it. So even big streamers, you know, like Ludwig, for example, plays the game, like I haven't even reached out to him. He just saw it as someone else stream, and it is crazy how a genre can like change the marketing way, you know, because I didn't really have to make marketing myself. I just made some Twitter posts here and there which had 10 likes, 20 likes, maybe 1,000 likes if it is like a big post. But the main marketing was just done by streams and videos, you know, so it was like a snowball or like a big wave with content creators who played it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, people were obviously very interested in playing the game, which is awesome. But one big question that I have is, how did you just, so you were working on your first game, Maki's Adventure, which is a 2D platformer game, and you launched that game, and then you started working on another, like a top-down roguelike jungle game, and you decided to pause development on that game and then make this rage game. Like what motivated you to switch projects in the middle of development?
I'm a person who makes games that I make games that I just want to make right now. So if Rogue Jungle is like 1 week before launch, but then I have like one more big game idea, I will just stop Rogue Jungle again because I just want to make games right now that I like to make, you know. So I don't really care about the development time that is already spent on Rogue Jungle. I will just stop it any time again if there's a new game idea, you know. And if I see like a genre is trending, like a co-op game, rage games, friends love games, then I will just skip another game or like stop it and make the friends love game.
Yeah, totally. That's so interesting. And I mean, I imagine it's probably a lot more complex to prototype and launch a game that has online multiplayer. Was that what multiplayer framework did you use for the online portion?
I used Unity Photon, so it's like the Photon networking. Back then I had like a small game jam game made with like Photon to learn Photon, I think 3 years ago. So I had I knew the framework already, so I could work with it really easy. So I didn't really want to learn something new. I just wanted to stick to Photon because in my past I had really good experience with that. So I just wanted to give it a new try, and it's crazy how easy it was to get the multiplayer set up. Because from like only local multiplayer, I got the online co-op done in 1 day. It was crazy. I think because Photon is really beginner friendly, and you don't have to understand that much about online networking, because I'm more like an artist, so I don't really know anything about peer-to-peer, like all this like client-side prediction is still not in the game, but it's not important because the latency is low enough to allow like host and client prediction, host and client connections. So I don't know much about networking, but I got the game done and it's running great. There are some people who live too far enough to have like a big latency, but that's something that is normal, I think, and there are way more positive feedback than negative feedback about that. So I will just stick to the current version and don't switch anything. Never change the running system, I think.
Yeah, totally. That's crazy. So it just kind of worked out of the box. You had experience with this framework. You had a prototype that you had done, so you had some experience with it. And did you run into any big issues around the multiplayer implementation?
Yeah, one big thing post-launch, because there's like a racing mode where you can race against your friends in like a smaller map, a bit like a Mario Kart map from the size, so 3 to 4 minutes of gameplay per map. And there is a problem that the boats can either be team boats, so you can have a duo boat, or like single player boats. Mm-hmm. And before that, I have to dive in a bit into networking right now, but Pede is basically one player is the host and the other player is the client. So the client sends like an RPC when he pedits, he sends an RPC to the host, and then the host makes the logic, the simulation, the physics, and the client is just receiving the rotation and the other stuff from like the Photon Unity networking rigid body component. It's a really long name, but it's called like that. Yeah. And so it's not direct for the client, but direct for the host, you know. So clients, so the other player who joined might have some delay, but the host always sees some stuff in real time. Mm-hmm. And for the like single player boats, which have to be instant and local, I had to switch from like host client to client side prediction. So every client has his own boat and simulates his own physics. So it was a big step to like have two different systems in one game, because it's still in the main game there's still host and client because it works great, but in the racing mode it switches to client and client, so client side prediction and peer-to-peer basically.
Yeah, interesting. Is there a reason why you didn't do client-side prediction for everybody?
I'm too lazy, to be honest. I don't want to switch because the code is working, and I really just want to add more content and make the game better, and not like rewriting the networking code. Because it works from like 90% of the players, so I don't see any like big requirement to change it right now, you know. Mm-hmm. And the funny part is that even like the Photon developers seem to be a bit like, oh my god, what are you doing, you know? Because they have a Photon Discord server where I post my like problems and questions, and they are like, you don't do something like that in an online multiplayer game. And I'm like, I do it like that, you know, because I am not an online networking expert. I just make the stuff how it works in the end. And if it works for like 90% of the players, I will keep it like that.
Yeah. That's so interesting. So I really admire your philosophy of development, because it's like you call yourself lazy, but really what I'm hearing you say is that you like to prioritize the things that are more important. And so because this is kind of my big criticism for programmers in general when it comes to game development, is a lot of times programmers just get stuck in the weeds and they want to make the code super clean and pristine and perfect, and to the detriment of actually shipping a game or making like good content. So I think that's great. So you had this very quick prototype that you put together where you have people paddling, and obviously trying, like, there's a start and then there's a finish, and you put obstacles in the way for them to traverse through and against and all of that stuff. How did you figure out what the gameplay would actually be? Like, if it was going to be like avoiding obstacles, or like a racing game, or like how did you actually fill out the content of the game and make the mechanic play into the rest of the development?
Most of the like game mechanics in the game are really inspired by other games. So, for example, there's like one section where the ground is not visible by default. You can see it when you go into a button, but if you leave the button, then to progress, then the ground is invisible, you know. So this one, for example, is inspired by Chain Together. There's like the exactly same like mechanic in Chain Together, and I thought it works in Chain Together, so why not just make the same thing in Pede, because it was used before, so I don't steal anything from Chain Together. It just like something that games did 10 years ago, you know, so why not just like apply it to my own game? Because there were like a set of mechanics that are like unique to like Pede, like the water jet, I think, like the pedal boat itself, but I thought like I want to fill out the section with like the whole like level, the big level, because it is divided into sections, and I want to fill it out with game mechanics that people already know and love, because that, I think, awakes like nostalgia, I think,
Yeah.
and people. For example, there's one section which is basically Flappy Bird but 3D. So you have Flappy Bird, but you fly into like 3 dimensions, and people like really freaked out sometimes when they saw it, because it's like Flappy Bird 3D, a genius, and I'm like, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
But it's nothing new. It's nothing. It's just like Megabong did Vampire Survivor in 3D. It's like the game did really good because the formula was already done, but you add like one more ingredient to it and make it unique that way. And that's how I made like the pedal mechanics, and I'm really happy how people liked it. I think a few times there were like complaints where they said like that I repeat some mechanics and make them harder instead of like adding new mechanics, but I'm like, I like to have like one tutorial section where the like mechanic is really easy, and then in the end add one like hardcore mechanic where the same mechanic is there but with a different like parkour, different speed, different like level design,
Yeah, totally. That makes sense. Have you found it hard to receive feedback from players to make the game better because it's a rage game? So do you feel like people are do people say like, oh, it's generally easy or generally hard, or is it a mix of both?
It's super mixed. Like, some Steam reviews say it's way too easy. Some people wrote me, it's way too easy, please make a hard level.
Yeah.
And other people don't like really progress on the first checkpoint, so it's really mixed. It's really like up to the players, and some people could make it in the first time, the first run in like 30 minutes, and the other people make it in 7 hours, so it's really mixed. Like, I think the median playtime on Steam is 1.5 hours right now, so it's like a really good number, I think, for a rage game, because it's like I thought 2 to 3 hours is like the medium like length of a run. So I think 1.5 hours medium playtime is a really good time for the game right now. But of course it will be higher because there will be new like game modes, Battle Royale game modes, there will be a level editor, and I want to have like in the end a game like Happy Wheels where people make their own levels, and it's basically like unlimited lifetime, because people will make levels all over the time.
Yeah, that's great. So you're continuing to support the game and kind of give it longevity through user-generated content. Yeah.
It would be dumb to be like, I make my next game right now, because it still sells super well. Like, I think there were 32,000 units sold in December only, so it's even 5 months before launch, it still performs great. So I don't want to end it here, and I want to make it better, make it like more content, more maps, because next month in February there will be the next map, which will launch with I think 2 hours of of playtime, and it will be like a vertical map inspired by Chain Together, where you go up, and if you fall down, then you can maybe save yourself on a like platform beneath, or you just fall to the complete bottom of the map. So it will be really frustrating, and there will be no checkpoints. Because I think only up is really cool, because you have to complete it in one session, and only up there are no checkpoints. So I really want to have the same map, like the same like frustrating feeling when you fall down. Because right now it's just let's go back to the last checkpoint. But in this new map, you have to play everything again if you have like bad luck.
Yeah. Oh, a true rage game.
Yeah.
That's great. Have you played or followed any of the devlogs from Isto Inc. Get to Work?
Yeah, I love them.
Okay,
I think his devlogs were crazy good. Like the quality was, I think his quality in general is crazy, but the devlogs were super awesome. Yeah. And I also like this like mix between him and between Atriok. It's a really good duo,
Yeah.
And also how he got like people to voice act. I think he made like the brilliant way, because he got big streamers to voice act, and they also played the game because they are in the game. Yeah. And that's like the best way to do it. And yeah, I think it's on like I really love to compare numbers on Gamealytic, because I think Gamealytic is the best and the most accurate site, because SteamDB I think is not that accurate right now. So I really like to go, if I want to compare units sold, I really like to go to Gamealytic, and they for Pede they also have a really like really good value. It's a bit off, but it's really like the closest one from all the sites, and so I think Gamealytic is the best one for me to check, and then I saw how the games perform, and I think Get to Work is at like 250k units sold, so I might will outsell them, which will be crazy because they had like way more marketing power, and I'm like one dude. I don't have many followers. I have one TikTok account, which is only German. I have no the YouTube power, you know. I have not even 1,000 followers on YouTube, but somehow the game still did really good. I don't know why, but it's maybe the Steam magic. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Do you follow Jonas Tyroller's devlogs? And so his big argument is like just make good games. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you are a good example of that, where you don't have like these connections to big streamers or anything, and you just made something that the market wants, and then the store algorithms and social media algorithms kind of just floated it to the top so that people were aware of it?
I wouldn't call my game a good game. I would just say a game that is trending, you know. So it is following the trend right now, and I'm really lucky because another game which is called Backseat Drivers, and they had like over 100,000 wishlists, and they are also like a co-op rage game where you drive in a car and one player is the grandma and the other player, you know that, right? Backseat Drivers.
I haven't seen it.
But it's a really good game. So you basically have to, one player can see the ground, like the street before him, and the other player doesn't see anything, and he has to drive without seeing anything.
Oh, that's
and you have
amazing.
to like talk to each other. And this game was played by so many big streamers and had over 100,000 wishlists before launch, but it still didn't really do that well since as Pedal. And I don't know why, because they had like more than 10 type of wishlists on launch, but somehow I was more lucky maybe. Because I don't know why the wishlist converted that well. You know, I have 20% wishlist conversion and it's not stopping right now. So I'm really trying to look how I can even improve it even more. Yeah. But I don't know how. I don't know. Maybe it was just luck. A one-hit wonder. I don't know. It could be. But I really want to use this one lucky time to get more lucky in the future, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I'm looking at their Steam page right now, and maybe it could be the price point. How did you go back and forth on how much you wanted to charge for your game, or how did you decide that?
No, just $4.99 because I think $5 is really low and $10 is too high, I think, for like a game like that. Because I hate the argument with $1 per play hour because it makes no sense. Because no one wants to play thousands of dollars for GTA, for example. But I like to have like a market comparison. So I think. Only Up has also $5 of a price point, or Chain Together has like $7 or $6. So I don't really want to be higher than them because I think Chain Together is way better than Pedal because the game has I think client-side prediction, so the networking code is way better, and the whole level design is it's peak. I think Chain Together has like peak level design. It's crazy good, and so I don't really want to go higher than them because I think. Compare the price is the best way to like compare the game prices, you know, is the best way. Because if you make a 2D platformer, I would never go higher than Silksong because Silksong is a top-notch game in there. Yeah. And I like to go with a lower price because I try to sell in quantity. So I want to go for like lower price but give it to more players then, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Can you remind me, what was your full development duration? How from like your first idea, starting the prototype, to launch day, how long was that?
It was started at, I think, 5th or 6th of March, so in early March it began. Then the demo came out in I think on the 20th of March. And then the full game came out on the 25th of July, so it was roughly 4 months of development.
Wow, that's really fast.
I'm really the best thing was I was way faster finished because I had Assemble, my publisher, offered me QA. So I think we had a few weeks of QA and polishing the game even more. And also we delayed the game because of the Steam Next Fest, because we wanted to get into the Steam Next Fest in June, I think it was. Yeah. So my plan was to make the game in 2 or 3 months maximum, but then we decided to delay it a bit. Assemble threw it into the room because I think having a Steam Next Fest before launch is crazy good. So I thought I would listen to them because they have the best experience. They are a publisher. So we would then delay it by 1 month and go into the Steam Next Fest and then launch it in July.
Yeah, that's awesome. Can you describe what your experience has been like working with the publisher, how you got connected with them? I know you went to some show or convention that I saw, but I can't remember the full story there.
Yeah, Assemble is a really good German publisher. I really like them, and I think I chatted with them before Maki's Adventure even, because they host the German Developer Days, the German Dev Days, and they are the host from this event, and they offered me a booth there to showcase Maki's Adventure back then. So I just took it because I really like conventions and like to showcase my games and talk to players and talk to like developers. So I thought, why not just take the opportunity back then. So I knew them from Maki's Adventure, I think 3 years ago. But then I think when I had like the demo went viral on Twitch and on YouTube, then Stefan, the CEO of Assemble, reached out to me via LinkedIn DM and said something like, do you need a publisher? Do you need help with marketing? And I was like, yeah, why not? Because I cannot really lose anything because I have no experience with publishers before. I have never worked with someone before. So I was a bit like concerned, of course, because I don't really know how it works. And the game was almost done, so I didn't know what they could offer me. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, the game took me only 2 or 3 months to develop until then. So why not just take this one opportunity? And they know how to market the game because they have big follower numbers, they have like big game releases already. And I then just decided to try it out, and I'm really happy about that. I'm really happy because they are really awesome to talk to. They're really active. If I have a question, I get an answer in a few hours maximum, so on the same day even. And they take care of so many things. They submit the game to events, like the German Developer Award, for example, and they take everything that I don't like to do. Event submissions, they take care of the Steam page, they commission the cover art, the new one, they even got the localization into the game, like hired a localization company, and they did so many great things, and I could then just focus on the development side and make the game and build the level, you know. So they even then hired a QA company and got me like a really good QA report at the end, so I could then just use to make the game even better. And overall, they are just really cool, and I really enjoy working with them.
That's amazing. I love that they reached out on LinkedIn. That's not the medium that I would have expected.
Yeah, I'm really active there because I like to post stuff about my games there, and like my post really well there. So I will just not stop posting there because it reaches like the business people who work for publishers. I also got in contact with like a PR company who work with a big movie company, and maybe we can make like a big movie like partnership with Pede in the future. And it's really cool how many like business people are there. So it's really cool to connect with like the publishers, other developers, and yeah, it's a really cool platform, I think, even for developers.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm pretty sure I deleted my LinkedIn when I quit my day job because I'm like, I'm never coming back to this, but now I might reactivate it and think twice about it.
Yeah, try it out, at least for a week, you know.
Yeah. It's really interesting for me to hear you talk about all of these things that the publisher was able to alleviate from your to-do list, and things that they can take care of so that you don't have to do them, like QA and localization and stuff, because I recently had a conversation with another developer, and they were talking about how they can't understand why people would want to work with publishers because they can do the localization and the QA themselves. And so they were like, I can do it, so why would I want to work with a publisher? But so it's interesting to hear your thoughts and say like, I really like it because then I get to focus on the things that matter, which is like developing the game.
Yeah, because I'm just a developer, so I really don't want to focus on making the Steam page, because if you are a team, then you maybe have someone who makes the marketing. But if you are a solo developer, you have to stop developing the game and then just focus on the Steam page. Because for Pede and Maki's Adventure in the beginning, I spent days to make a Steam page, and I don't want to make that anymore. I just want to make games, and I will gladly give a percentage to the publishers and then just split and share the work,
Yeah, that totally makes sense. It's interesting talking to you because you seem like you are really dialed in with the things that you want to accomplish. What is your like work day look like?
Oh, it's really long. Right now it's almost 1 in the morning for me, so it was a really long day, and I live in Germany, so it's always really complicated to find like an appointment, to find like a time it's possible for both. Because normally I wake up at I think 7 or 8 in the morning, so really early. But I also work until 2 a.m., so I don't have much sleep right now. But only because the new map is coming out and like it's a really exciting time right now, so I don't really want to sleep.
Yeah.
And also I have to be honest here, I play a lot of Fortnite right now. It's a really fun game and I love it. And so I just wake up at 7 or 8 in the morning, drink my coffee, then I go for a walk, and because I like to have like a quick walk before I work on my PC, and then I just work, normally I have like I meet friends in the afternoon or in the noon, so I have some social time. And I also study, so I go to university when I have a lecture there, and it's really like student-like life, so I'm really happy that I can live from developing games right now, so I don't really have to work in a normal job and have to like drive there at 8 in the morning and then go like spend 8 hours there, for example. I couldn't do it because I like to go all in at something that I really enjoy, that I really love,
Yeah.
So if I have a task that I don't really like, then I'm really like procrastinating, don't really want to work on that. And if I have something that I really enjoy, then I will go all in there. And I think I have like a really low attention span from TikTok maybe, but it's really hard to concentrate if I don't like the task,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but then I just go for a walk in the afternoon. And then I already worked on my games for like I think 4 or 5 hours already. So it's like I work from I think 10 to like 2 or 3, and then I just have some time outside and go meet some friends or in the university. And I even work on my laptop in the university, so I don't really study there. It's just like an image, But then I just meet friends, have a social life. And in the evenings, I arrive at home at 8 maybe, and then I just work until 2 or 1. It's a really long day, but I love it, It's my dream life.
That's amazing. Has the success of Paddle made you rethink your dedication to going to class or doing homework? Or
I never had a dedication, so it was never my like, I really want to make the homework right now. It was always like, maybe I will just work on my game, because it's more fun. And I haven't switched anything, to be honest. I just think making like a Friends Club game, because I have a new idea for a Friends Club game that I will make this year too. So I will maybe release my next co-op game this year already and take the hype from Pette to the new game. But I don't really change my my side on the game development, I will just keep making games I really want to make. So, for example, Rogue Jungle is a roguelike. I have like indie racing game, Ultimate Indie Racing, which is like an arcade racing game with indie game characters.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Then I have a Mackey's Adventure in 3D, like this Wind Waker-like game where you can I think swim as a shark, fly as a bird, walk as a demon on the land. So you have movements on every terrain. And then I also have Mackey's Adventure, which got on consoles and PC physical this year too. Last year, I mean. So it is really. I don't really have I work for 1 year on this game. I just make the game that I really want to work on right now.
That's amazing. How dedicated are you to finishing other projects that you have started versus trying to do a quick development cycle of something new?
I'm more I need some breaks sometimes, so I really enjoy to take maybe 2 or 3 days, because I made a Twitter post I think 2 days ago where I showed some mobile game, hyper casual game prototypes, because I really like to make quick mobile game mechanics, because it uses only one touch, either a swipe, a touch on the screen. So you really have to think about making a fun mechanic with a really small input, really low input scheme. And it's really fun to make simple games like that. But if the games are fun, then it is good. And people ask me if they can play the game anywhere. So I think the game looks good and looks fun. So I might even want to make some hyper casual games in the future and publish them, because I could spend some money on ads maybe, and then maybe try out to make like scammy mobile games, because I just want to try it out. I'm not someone who makes games like I just want to make games that I feel that are fun. Fun small games, and don't spend 10 years on one big game, but rather make like smaller games, maybe publish 3 or 4 games in 1 year, and then just get it out and make more games, because I like the process of developing. I don't like to make like one big game. Like my dream game is done already. It was Monkey's Adventure, which is my totally dream game. Pixel art, sharks, Zelda-like gameplay. It is my dream game, 100%. So right now I can just focus on making small games, fun games, and games I really enjoy to make. Roguelikes, racing games, rage games, all the stuff,
Interesting. If you had to do it over, would you have started with your dream game, or would you have done it differently?
Yeah, it was way too cool to develop Monkey's Adventure. I really enjoyed it, It's my dream to work on this game, and I even spent, I think, 7 months to make the level editor, and it's free to play on Steam right now, the level editor. So I spent 7 months to develop it and didn't take like a cent for this, because it is my dream to work on the game, and making the game is my payment, If I have time to make the game, then it's fine to me. I don't really want to live from this game. It's just like a passion game.
That's great. It's cool to hear that you love game development as a craft, and that you get so much enjoyment from actually making the games. From other people that I've talked to that are like that, it seems like they tend to struggle with finishing games and like doing the last 10% that it takes to get a game out the door, because they love the process so much. They want to keep making it better, and they don't want it to end and move on to another project. Do you feel like you have an issue with finishing projects?
Only because I have a new idea when I finish it, So for me, I finish games if I have no big idea before the game comes out. So I don't have a problem with finishing a game. I have a problem with keeping the focus on the game, And I finished multiple games already. I released them on itch.io. I made small games, like game jam projects, more like mini games, and I don't really have problems finishing them. I just really have like too many ideas to only work on one game for a few years. That's why I want to make games quicker now. I really want to have like maximum of 4 months of development, maximum, and then just get them out and maybe make a small game, take a low price, and see how it performs,
It's really interesting because that's such a short development timeline, and I know people like Chris Zukowski recommend that even if you have a really fast development cycle, to let it sit and have the Steam page like soak a little bit and get more wish lists. Is that something that you think would be helpful, or do you think it would be? Do you plan on just releasing games as soon as they're finished, even if they don't have time to gather a lot of wish lists?
To be honest, wish is really important, because it is like the metric if the game does well on Steam, or some metric. But I just want to release them, so I don't really care about that. If I get 7,000, 8,000 until launch, it's really great, because that way you get in popular upcoming. But if not, then I will just get them out. But one thing I really want to say is I don't believe in big games. I don't really believe in that, because I don't think the big games have the ROI, so they don't match the development cost. Because of course there are games that make millions of copies sold, but in the end it was made in 10 years by hundreds of people, and it's like it's way too less revenue to say it's like a successful game, And of course, if you get funded, then of course you paid nothing because the publisher put money up your so you know what I mean. But it's not ROI then, because you got money to develop the game, but the game itself didn't get the money back, And I even think that games like the big games from AAA studios often don't come to the ROI, Because I think making big games is almost 100% a no successful game, because you have to be viral, you have to put millions of dollars into marketing, but then also get the millions of dollars back in revenue, So I just really want people to make small games and don't focus too much on making the game bigger and bigger and bigger. maybe make it bigger after the game came out, maybe adding more content. Because I like Dispatch, and because it has different episodes, and maybe they have like the game released, maybe they have the game not even finished yet, but they can then see if the game does well, they can finish it and make more content, So I think it's way better to have like a semi-end and maybe adding more chapters to the end after that. Like a sequel, like a part 3, part 4. But of course the ending, like it should be a final product, but maybe leaving some space open for a second part, and some ideas for the second part like that.
Yeah. How do you manage the scope of games to keep them small? Do you think it's by setting a deadline, or like I was talking to Aramis and Thornity, who just released a game about feeding a black hole, and I think initially they set out to build a game in like 300 or 400 hours, so they put like an hourly cap on it before they would launch it, and so because that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with is the scope gets out of hand, you try to start with a really small idea, but then it kind of balloons and goes on for months and months. So how would you kind of keep yourself accountable in that way?
I would say maybe I like to make a to-do list, one big list with features and ideas, and don't add anything after that. Because if you have one big list, and if the list is like beginning to end, like for Pede Pede Pede, it was like a list of mechanics, and I didn't edit anything in the development process. So I made a list on the first day of development, with mechanics I want to have in the full game, and then I don't add anything. I would just work through the list and see if the game is fun in the end. And if it's not fun, I can modify the list, change stuff. But I will first finish a list and see if the game is fun. If it's fun, then I will just get it out. So that's my way to do it.
Okay, so on day one of developing this game, you made a big list of features, and you basically just designed the whole game on the first day. Yeah. And then you just went through and did everything on the list, and you said, I can't change anything until the list is done.
Yeah. I also then I took feedback from players to improve the existing parts, but I didn't really add more mechanics into it, during the development. Because I think feature creep is really dangerous, and if you have an open list and add more stuff in the development, then feature creep is pre-installed, Yeah. And I would say maybe then just avoid feature creep by having no feature additions, Yeah. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Interesting. Okay, so I've been reading this book called Production Point, and it was written by Ben Anderson, who goes by Heartbeast online. I don't know if you're familiar with his games, but he advocates that for a game's development process, there should be two different segments. The first one is like the prototyping phase, and that's when you are changing features and you're trying to find the fun, and then you pivot to the production phase, and that's when you start adding more content to the game, and you feature lock all of the mechanics of the game and stuff, which sounds good to me. But it's so I would just be interested to hear how you think of that idea, because I guess when you have this big list and you have this retroactive analysis period where you are trying to figure out if the game is fun. After you go through the list, implement all the features, and then you say, is this game fun? Or what could I do to change it? What is that iteration cycle? How long did it take you to go through the list and then revisit it?
I made the list into different sections, because I had I think I planned the biomes in the first day already, so I had the biomes planned, and the biomes were basically the beginning to end of the game. So I then just made the mechanics. The list was basically a diagram, like an image, and it had I think 6 or 7 different areas where I could a mind map fill in the features there, the mechanics. And I didn't really change that, so I just go with the list and took it as an blueprint. I think it's a blueprint basically. Yeah. So I then just made the whole game like that and built it out. And the only thing, of course, I changed and modified during the development was textures, the 3D models, because I started out with only placeholders, only cubes, basic primitive shapes and stuff like that. maybe also TurboScript 3D models. I bought some things too and reused some like previously made assets that I made for like Rogue Jungle, for of course, or like Mackey's Adventure, which has like a 3D hub world, and I could then reuse like the green terrain block. It's like basically cornering the whole like map. I could also then like I think the only 3D models that I remade for the game were basically the pedal boat, the two guys paddling, and the skins. Everything else was just made from previous games in the end. So of course there's like only my own work in the game because I swapped the like placeholders out, but it is basically like I think recycled 3D models from previous games basically. Yeah.
Wow.
But that way I could focus more on like programming, you know, because I like to reuse assets because the whole graphics style is really simple and really goofy. So I could then just go with like catchy colors, high contrast, and that way I also decided to go with like blue water and like red lava or orange lava because I think the contrast is really great there, and it was a really like spontaneous development. So I had the list, but I also like had. Maybe I will cut it out. So I even removed some things from the list, but didn't add anything. Mm-hmm. In the end, there were like things that had too many potential bugs that I just scrapped out whole mechanics, you know. I think 3 mechanics were scrapped out of the list because there were too many potential bugs in online networking.
Yeah.
And I like to reduce the list. So I have like a big list and then just reduce it or keep it as big as it was.
That's so interesting. If you could go back to day one of developing Paddle Paddle Paddle, would you do anything different?
I think no. From the standpoint right now, because I think the development process was really good and I didn't really see anything that I could change from right now. Of course, I would have way more like the game would be good. I have like really big like imposter syndrome, you know, where I was like, the game is not really that good. It had only 7,000 wishlists, but then on launch day I was like, holy shit, it was crazy, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe I would have more like self-trust. If I had like, I would tell to myself back then, the game will be good, just keep at it, you know. Mm-hmm. But not anything to change.
Yeah, that's great. Has your life changed much? Did you have a lot of anticipation going into launch this game? Did you have a lot of anxiety about it? And then once it started to get a lot of sales, did that change how you were working on the game or going day to day?
To be honest, I didn't even care about how the launch went because I knew the demo is doing really good. That's why I launched the demo that early, because I knew the demo does that well and it was covered by the biggest creators like on YouTube, Twitch, Bilibili, and also like other portals. TikTok also had like millions of views there, and it was crazy that the demo was already that like popular and that much loved, I think. But then the full game was like the demo but way better, more content and more mechanics and more playtime. So I didn't felt like maybe it will be not good because the demo proves the game mechanic was like the whole game like idea was really good. I then just had to keep the same quality. And the demo had a really bad quality, so the level is really like built in 1 week, basically. Mm-hmm. So I knew that the full game with like a few months of development will be way better and the game will do really good. Yeah. And I think after a few weeks of like the demo being out, it already had like 400 very positive reviews on Steam. So the people really enjoyed the demo and wanted more. So I knew it will be really good.
Yeah, that's great. What are you planning to do moving forward? You know, you've already mentioned that you have another friend swap game that you want to potentially release this year. Mm-hmm. You said you might want to go back to Rogue Jungle. Are these sort of established plans? Are they set in stone, or are you kind of waiting to see what happens, or as you keep supporting Paddle Paddle Paddle, is that something that you'll continue to build out?
My first idea right now, my first plan is to make the level editor, like the new map, which is coming out next month, but after the level editor, the console port. So I will keep working on Paddle 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 for the next month and slowly start to work on Rogue Jungle again, because the co-op game will be done, I think, at Q2 or maybe Q3 of this year. But before that, I will still keep working on Paddle Paddle Paddle, making Rogue Jungle and getting it to the finish line. I also have like conversation with like publishers right now with Rogue Jungle, and is doing really good. So the game is really the playtest on Steam did really good already. So I knew that the idea of Rogue Jungle is like gold. If I then just make the end product even better, So it had the same good feeling as with Pede Pede Pede. But of course, Rogue Jungle is more like a roguelike and not as trending as like a rage like co-op game. Yeah. But roguelikes are still really good, and it's also like a mix of deck building, vampire survivor like weapons, and dungeon crawling. So I think this whole genre mix is really gold,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one thing is really like making me sad is I had like an email with Devolver, and they sadly turned the game down because it's too similar to Vampire Survivor and too not unique to them. I can understand that because it's way basically Vampire Survivor with card and deck building and dungeons, But I also have really good comments from other publishers which I'm talking to right now, so I know that the game will have a publisher. I don't know which one yet, but it will have a publisher, and I can then just make the game and they will make the marketing because it's my personal favorite.
Yeah, that's amazing. So did you reach out to these publishers or did they come to you, and how do you decide which publisher you would like to work with?
One publisher reached out to me because they saw Pede 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 and wanted to try out Rogue Jungle, my next game. And the other publishers were reached out by me by emails, just one big pitch deck and one email. Hey, my name is blah blah. This is my game, and because Pede 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 is like success like a magnet, So if I pitch my other games to the publisher, I can say my games made like this much revenue, this many units sold, and it's basically like they know that I made a big game before,
Yeah. Totally. Did you make a pitch deck to send to these publishers?
Yeah. It's, I think, like 12 slides, everything, like my business plan, my development timeline, because I would love to have funding, because I don't really want to fund Rogue Jungle with Pede Pede Pede. Of course, if the publisher can fund me, then I will fund Pede Pede Pede, but I really want like a composer, a sound designer, and like an icon designer for the game.
Yeah.
Because these are my three like weakness points. Because I make 3D models and 2D art, but I cannot really make icons, So I really want to have like professionally made icons, like really good icons for the weapons, for the cards and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also I would love to have like a musician, like a sound designer, because I think a roguelike is really living from the soundtrack. Because Megabong, Vampire Survivor, they all have amazing soundtracks,
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's good to have something like that too.
Yeah, totally. Do you like being a solo developer, or would you ever consider like forming a team, or maybe just like contracting out the stuff that you don't want to work on, or do you see yourself being a solo developer long term?
I think being a solo developer is my goal. Because of course later on I will maybe make a team, create a team or like build up a team. But right now I can make everything myself, and marketing wise I have a publisher, So why should I make more people into my team or like get people to join me? Because it's like just a cost, And I read like a YouTube video or like a blog post from like a game which saw 10 millions in revenue, but they had a team of like 10 people, and the revenue was nothing for them because after taxes, after Steam card, after dividing it, after income taxes, then it was nothing, Yeah. So having one more person in the team is like such a big difference, Because as a solo developer, it's way easier to make a living from video games.
Yeah.
And people often are hiring way too early. In Germany, I don't really want to call out someone here, but there are way too many teams where I think like, why have a team? Your game is not that good to have a team,
Yeah.
And they open a team with 4 people and the game has 7 reviews on Steam. I'm like, sorry, but it's just dumb. And you will just end up in a failed launch. It's like pre-installed. Because you cannot really have like 100 wishlists on launch day with a team of 4 people and expect success, It's not possible.
Totally. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. I think that is all of the questions that I had that I wanted to go over. Is there anything that you wanted to chat about before we wrap things up?
Not much, but I'm really looking forward to your games now. Are you working on games right now?
Yeah. It's been a weird. I'm working on a video right now to kind of recap 2025 and then talk about my plans going into this next year. Basically, I split my time again amongst a few different projects, but my primary game dev project was I bit off more than I could chew, so I didn't end up shipping any games in 2025. I ported one of my old games to Nintendo Switch, but that's all that I did in 2025 for game releases. So 2026, my plan is to pivot and scope down, and I have a couple different prototypes that I'm passing around right now that I'm going to get some feedback on and then see which one I want to move forward with. But yeah, my goal is to have very short development timelines, just a few months. So
awesome. I can recommend it because it's way more safe, because the more you work on the game, the more revenue you have to get. Because for a game, I had like a calculation with Pede with like the return on invest. If I had like a German salary, in Germany it's about $2,000 to $3,000 like euros every month. If I had like 3,000 or 4,000 of like monthly like revenue, salary, then I would have to make like $20,000 on Steam revenue, and it's way easier to get this game to an ROI than having like a bigger game,
Yep, definitely. Yeah, and as you release more games, you're going to build up your back catalog of passive income as well. I've experienced that a bit because even though I've only released a couple of games, I've put them on a number of different platforms, and so I have like little bits trickling in every month from a few different sources, and so I think it makes sense to build up a back catalog of games like that too.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just got because I think about making Mackey's Adventure priced with 80% of sale every month now, because that way it was sold way more, because I had I think $600 in Steam revenue for Mackey's Adventure last month, because I had 80% sale on Steam,
Yeah.
The game was sold way more, and the revenue is still going big because it's quantity, The game was priced at $2, I think. So a really big steal for a Metroidvania game. People bought it because they got I have still I think 15,000 wishlists active right now, so they will get the email, and that way I can get more units sold and the game will be seen by more people. And I don't really care if the game is only $2 then, because it's quantity, people will still buy it, because if I have a normal price then the game is barely bought, I think 10 units sold a month. But with this a big sale and the emails with wish lists and stuff like that, the game is sold hundreds of times every month if I have a sale, So I would just go every month with a sale here and just try to get the game to as many people as possible that are left,
Yeah. Discounting strategy is really interesting to me. Trying to how to optimize the long tail of games and figuring out a increasing price reduction as you go into different sales and stuff. That's a whole science, or an art, I guess, in itself. Yeah, that's cool. Awesome. Well, I guess we can wrap things up here. Thank you so much, Mateo, for coming onto the podcast today. It's been super fun watching your journey and cheering you on from the sidelines, and just been really cool being able to kind of see the different projects that you've worked on throughout the years, and then kind of pick your brain about your recent successes. So hopefully everything will go well with you launching the level editor for Paddle, and
thank you.
It'll be fun to, hopefully we can stay in touch, and you can release 12 more games in the next month probably, because you're so fast.
Yeah, sure, why not? I will just keep the grind up, make more games, and we can definitely keep in touch. We have Discord, Twitter, all the stuff, and I'm happy to see how your games perform. And I really like smaller games because it's safer for us indies. The bigger games can be made by AAA studios, because they have the money. But we just want to make a living, make small games, and it keeps the fun up. Because I think making a big game is also risking losing the fun at making the game, because I think every developer loses the fun after a few years of development. Because with Mackey's Adventure, I hated the game in the end. I just didn't want to work on it after 2 years of development, daily testing, and it's just too annoying in the end.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I think game jams are so cool too, because the game jam, it kind of takes away all of the stress of trying to make something commercially viable, and you just get to be able to experiment, or it's more playful. You get to, and you finish something that has some more creative elements to it. So I think that's a fun way to approach game development.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, I will continue to make an awkward outro. So thanks again. See ya.
See you.